Nearly 5,000 homeless people across San Diego County sleep on the streets. Many are hunkered down on sidewalks in the East Village, where rows of tents are surrounded by soiled clothes and piles of garbage. Those wandering the streets with their overloaded carts are a mix of people with mental illness, drug addictions, and economic hardship. Shelter workers say emergency beds are full. Waiting lists are months long.
There's not an alternative to being homeless right now.
Bob McElroy is founder and CEO of the Homeless Outreach Alpha Project. He says the soaring street population has reached a crisis level. Now he has a plan to take as many as 800 people off the streets and put a roof over their heads. He's calling his proposed project a central intake center.
It's a place for women, a place for men, a place for families, a place for those folks who aren't ready to acclimate into a communal setting, like a dormitory type setting. They can still stay in their tents. There's a park area there. Will be designed a park area there where people can stay in their tents, but they'll be safe.
And they can bring their pets and their belongings. McElroy says they'll have medical clinics, addiction and rehabilitation services, mental health, Veterans Administration, Social Security, meals.
All the services will be provided in one spot to start the process of recovery while we wait for those permanent housing and supportive housing programs to open up.
He says the location of the center would likely be on city-owned land near downtown.
There's a couple sites we're looking at that are actually are acres big.
He says downtown businesses and community members are willing to help fund the project because they're overwhelmed by homeless living at their front doors. He's been talking to neighborhood committees about his proposal.
The people that would be so appreciative of the fact that we're actually doing something comprehensive would pitch in and help.
He says he has strong backing from city leaders, though he's not ready to name names. The mayor's office did not respond to a request for comment, but not everyone likes the idea.
Sinking a ton of money into this mega shelter that other communities are actually moving away from is like shooting ourselves in the foot. It's almost unbelievable that we're still stuck in the past in San Diego. It's really sad.
Homeless advocate Michael McConnell spoke to us by phone from Denver, where he's meeting with homeless outreach groups. He says permanent supportive housing is the only proven solution.
We already have 1,566 emergency shelter beds in San Diego. If that was the solution, then we would have been solving homelessness a long time ago.
Convincing some of the homeless to go into a large shelter could be a challenge. Many have survived the streets for years and they're comfortable with their lifestyle. KPBS recently talked to people living on 17th Street about why they decline shelters.
I don't really like living indoors. It's a lot healthier out here.
But honestly, I'm doing my own program and it's working for me. You know, and I'm out the way.
I despise bed bugs. They irk me. When I know they're there, I can't sleep.
Sinead Law is newly homeless. She says she's on several waiting lists.
For St. Vincent de Paul, for Rachel's, for VOA.
So how long is the waiting list?
I don't know. They say they don't know.
McElroy says the homeless will come to the center because they know him and trust him.
We ran the winter shelter program in San Diego for 18 years, and all those folks there would come because it's low barrier, it's safe, it's nurturing, and 87% of my staff are all people who have been there and done that.
His winter tents housed 225 people up until 2015 when the city replaced the temporary shelter with a permanent year-round facility at St. Vincent de Paul. His proposed central intake center would house 4 times as many people. He hopes to open the center within a few months.
If the powers that be say, Bob, let's go do it, we're going to go do it. The providers are on board, the community's on board. The residents of downtown, the business owners of downtown are on board.
McElroy agrees permanent housing is needed, but that could take years. He says people need help now.
And that's what our job is to get our folks back into having some quality of life.
Susan Murphy, KPBS News.